don't have to be a king.
Oh, I just slapped you. Are you alright? What?
The cult classic is back to hit the nerves. The movie that shook Hollywood in the 1980s is back with a bang. The Roadhouse 2024 will bring back the spirit of Herrington magic. That sounds promising, right? Well, let's see what Doug Liman has cooked up in the kitchen. The movie starts in a fight club in America, where beasts will fight anyone for money. There appears to be a deadly fight between two giant fighters, Harry and Ron, amidst cheering crowd. The energy they radiate is enough to understand the liking of those people towards fighting. As they are engaging in a tough contest, a woman named Frankie appears in the scene. She is closely watching the fight between Harry and Ron, where they punch each other like there is no tomorrow. She gets more and more excited as the fight goes on, and finally, Harry takes the lead with his quick moves and smart tactics. He gradually wears Ron down with his hard blows and punches. The crowd applauded when Harry knocked Ron down, but the movie takes a turn when a new challenger appears in the ring. Frankie, along with the crowd, is eager to see who the challenger is. To their surprise, it is Elwood Dalton, a former UFC fighter who received a worldwide ban due to the death of his last rival. What makes the scene more interesting is Harry's reluctance to fight with Dalton, as if he might have had one in the past. Dalton's confidence in his posture and face scares Harry into accepting the challenge. With a sudden feeling of fear, he leaves the ring, and Elwood Dalton ends up being the winner without throwing a single punch. As Elwood takes a leave from the fighting club, he is confronted by a man who viciously stabs him. The rigor in the man's face reveals that Elwood might have cost the man something in the past. But a wave of fear hits the man when Elwood says that you would have thought twice before stabbing me. The man ran away in that fear. Frankie approaches wounded Elwood to help him. She tells him that she knows how good he is at fighting and wants him to do her a favor. As she treats him, she reveals that she came to recruit Harry for a mission, but seeing Elwood has changed her mind. As Elwood inquires about her, he tells him that she operates a quaint restaurant in Florida named Roadhouse, which has recently become the target of some local thugs. She wants Elwood to come to Roadhouse to settle the conflict and make the place safe again. To make ends meet, Elwood agreed to help Frankie for some good money. Frankie believes that his fighting abilities will restore peace in her workplace while she works as a bouncer. As a part of the deal, she offers $20,000 a month and a place to live. The movie sets a new tone when Elwood arrives in Florida. He meets Charlie, who owns a bookstore in Florida. She offers him a book that details the city's highlights. Suddenly, he feels welcome in the new city. Elwood's entry into the Roadhouse marked a change in his life and the future of the restaurant. At the restaurant, he meets Laura, the bartender, followed by James. It comes to a surprise to Elwood that James is an ex-heavy lifter champion. Elwood gets used to the new atmosphere and starts enjoying the community vibe the restaurant offers, while Frankie observes the same. As Elwood tries to make the place feel comfortable, a conflict hits him as the biker gang arrives to create tension at the bar. When they try to harass a girl, James comes to rescue, which in turn forces Elwood to interfere. As he intervenes, the tension escalates and ends up in a fight between Elwood and the goons headed by Dell. While showcasing his trade, he doesn't forget to take them to the hospital, where he meets a nurse named Ellie. That takes the movie to another layer of relationships. When Ellie expressed her concern that fighting prevents people from receiving medical assistance, Elwood engaged in a heartfelt conversation about his life as a fighter. As he gets back to the Roadhouse, Frankie expresses her happiness, offers a steady paycheck every week for his service, and offers him a boat to stay in even, though he has to keep an eye on the crocodiles. The bond between the colleagues and Elwood is enhanced as Laura brings food for Elwood in his boat. At the same time, Elwood visits Charlie's bookstore to maintain the company with her. At the other end of Florida, Dell's boss, Ben Brandt, is not happy about what happened at the Red House and warns them there will be consequences for the same. Even though Elwood's presence is making a good impact in the Roadhouse, he struggles with the memories of his fight with his friend, which ends up in the death of the latter. On the next day, Elwood ends up with Ellie while having breakfast at the restaurant, and they share a nice talk with her, but she makes sure that she gives him a caution about the prevailing violence in the place, and advises him to stay clear. On the same day, he is encountered by the men of Dell to take revenge on what happened at the Roadhouse the other day. Elwood somehow manages to escape from there, only to be encountered by Dell in his boat. Dell emerges with a gun to kill Elwood, but in a fight between them, Dell hurdles over the edge of the boat and falls into the water. As a shock to Elwood, a crocodile suddenly attacks Dell and takes him away. Even though Ben sends someone to take Elwood to his residence, Elwood rejects the offer, which makes Ben mad. At Roadhouse, Elwood confronts Frankie to find out why Ben has an eye on the restaurant, to which Frankie doesn't have an answer. The movie takes a U-turn and introduces Knox, who is supposed to be a potential rival for the Elwood, into the picture. He is a bad guy who causes trouble now and then. Knox's character is said to be the core element that brings life to the whole movie. Even though he is an antagonist, his impact on the movie is commendable. He sets the tone for the movie by setting fire to the building where Ben calls him to deal with Elwood. At the same time, at Elwood, Ellie asks Elwood to hang out with her. They go to an island nearby to relax. As the trip progresses, Ellie talks about Dell's death and how hard it is to find a body in the sea. As they reach the island, Elwood tells Ellie about Ben and the fact that he invited him to his residence. Suddenly, they slipped into a heartfelt conversation where Elwood talked about his past and his trauma. As their intimacy deepens, they share a kiss in the middle of the island. The next day, Elwood decides to take things into his own hands, steals money from a mafia, and makes a bomb. While he does so, Sheriff Jim lets him know that Ellie was kidnapped. Elwood rushes to save her from Knox. While doing so, Ben catches Ellie and leaves on another boat. At the same time, Knox takes advantage and confronts Elwood. The fight between them intensifies, and Elwood takes the lead and throws Knox into the water. While having a confrontation with Ben, Ben's ship collides with the Roadhouse. On the other side, Knox climbs up a bridge and jumps onto a car. Elwood tries to take Ben's life before Knox reaches the Roadhouse. In a furious fight between Elwood and Knox, the former acts bravely and takes Knox down once and for all, which ends up in Knox being unconscious. As the fight calms down, Jim comes to the Roadhouse and asks Elwood to leave Florida for better. Elwood leaves while Frankie is determined to regain the glory of Red House. Meanwhile, Elwood meets Charlie at the bus stop and tells her that he will return soon. When Charlie's father learns about the money Elwood has left for Charlie, he is already gone. The movie wraps up where Knox is at the hospital thinking about his revenge. Please don't forget to like the video and share it with your fellow action drama fans. Be sure to check in by pressing the bell icon. Subscribe for more content. Until we meet again.